channel. So today we're going to go through all of the eyeshadow palettes that I went into the month of May, and there's a lot. There's 28 palettes in front of me that I used in May. I don't know what I was thinking last month. I don't know if it's going to happen this month. I know April was a big number, but 28 palettes in 31 days. That is crazy. That is crazy. A lot of them I use multiple times, obviously, as well. I do tend to use multiple palettes for one look. I do like to do that. I like to dip my hands in different toes, or how does that work? I don't think that works. Anyway, let's go through all of the palettes that I went through. I'm going to do what I did last month, and I'm going to do it by usage. So I have a lot of palettes where I only went into once. Now my usage is just that I went into it one day of the month. And that's pretty much how I'm tracking it. It's not how many different shades I went into that palette for this specific video, but I do also have that in my spreadsheet. I just don't have it for you today. Let's start with the palettes that I only used once for the month. So I did go into my What's Up Beauty Dragon's Eye palette. This one I'm debating because these are magnetic, and one of you kindly suggested that I potentially could swap out some of these shades and mix it around with the other palettes that I have from What's Up Beauty, and I might do that. There's just a few shades that are looking, honestly, a little bit iffy to me. I'm getting worried about these palettes. I haven't had them very long, and it looks like the formula is going in some of them. I've already had to remove one shade from my Monsoon, which I think I've decluttered regardless, but I think there's some shades in there I'd like to save, but I don't want to save it if the formula is going. Like, I'm getting a bit worried, but there's some gorgeous shades in this, and I did end up going into this when I did, I believe it was one of my members videos. I went into this shade called Scales. I will try, if I can, to put looks and blast them on the video as I speak about all these palettes, but I only used this one time this last month. Then we have the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde. I only went into this once as well. This one, I believe it was for this shade, and I might have gone into another shade, but I know it was definitely this shade. And again, I think it was for a members video where I went into that. I just like to dip in, like if I'm looking for a specific shade, I kind of just try to find it in my palette. So anyway, this is a new one. I just picked this up. So I only went into it once. It's from Glamnatrix. It's the Nearly Natural palette. I thought it was Nearly Neutral. I thought this was the Nearly Neutral. This is Nearly Natural. I just read it now. I've been quoting this incorrectly and no one has corrected me. I called the Beauty Bay Earthly palette Earthly for years, until somebody literally said, you know, it's not earthly, it's earthy. So now, oh my gosh. So this is the Nearly Natural. Oh no, it's dirty. I was trying not to get it dirty and I have a little black mark there. Damn it, it's so annoying. Anyway, this one I went into it once. I just got it last week. So I went into it because I wanted to play around with it. I might do another like dedicated video for this. Yeah, this is the Nearly Natural palette. Gosh, stupid of me, so stupid. All right, let's move on. We have the Club Nebula from Kaleidos. I went into it a lot this year, but this last month only went into it one day. And it really honestly was to hit pan in this green shade, which I was able to do. So that one is done. And, you know, I feel quite happy and satisfied to put this in my drawers and not use it for several months. Then I also went into the Gal on Mars from Gloss Gods once this month. I believe it was going into this shade right here, which is absolutely gorgeous. I'm really loving pink, if you haven't noticed. But this is gorgeous. This is like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to swatch everything, but like when I come across a shade like this, look at this. Just this gorgeous, is that a multi-chrome? I don't know. It does have green to it, but very purpley and pink and gorgeous. And also like, I don't know, peach. I don't know what color this is. I'm not good at describing colors, so don't ask me. I also went into the avocado toast. So I had decluttered this, and then I went into it when I did my full look of decluttered items. So this one got its fair share of use for that video. This is what it looks like. And I have decided to keep it, so it did end up staying in my collection. I went into the Gal on Jupiter one time, which makes me so sad. It's like my favorite palette in my collection. I only got into it once, but there's just too many palettes to go into. This one I went into it during my Shop My Stash, and just gorgeous, gorgeous palette. I love it. Every time I go into it, I just love the look that I create. Very like, I would say maybe normal. And if you're into color, obviously you're not gonna like it, but I personally love it. Then I went into Dancing in the Sky from Gloss Gods once as well. This was again for channel members. I think I went into one of the greens. I mean, there's only green in here, but I'm pretty sure I went into, I think it was this one or this one. I think it was this one because yeah, I'm doing like a gemstone series on my members and we're going through all the gemstones of the months. So we did Emerald for May. Anyway, here we are, the Beauty Bay Earthy. It's the Earthy palette, not the Earthly, it's the Earthy. I just don't know how to read. Went into this once. What did I go into for this one? I think I went into this one over here. Again, I think it was for that green look that I did. Anyway, those are all of the palettes that I went into only once this last month. This next batch, I went into it twice. So we have the Hocus Pocus 2 palette from Colourpop. Technically, it's called the All Hallows Eve, but this was their second Hocus Pocus collab, I believe. And anyway, I went into this twice. First for my Shop My Stash, and then second, I went into it when I was randomly generating something to go into to do my makeup, and it picked this one. So we did a full look with just this on my channel, so if you didn't go check that out, I think it turned out quite nice. So that one, I went into it twice. Also went into the Avatar Earth palette twice. This is from Lethal Cosmetics. This is such a gorgeous, stunning palette. So I believe in my Shop My Stash I went into this shade, but then I also went into this palette for my gemstone look for my channel members. I think I went into this color here. So it got a couple uses, not a huge amount, but at least it's not getting completely neglected. I also went into, believe it or not, this one twice. You guys would not have seen it because the first look that I did was just for me. I actually did film the look, but I deleted it. So nobody has seen the first look that I created. I don't know. Actually, I do. I think I have a picture. I was just wanting to play with this because it's been in my collection for so long. I have not even tried to do a note panel behind with this yet. And so I did a pink look, and I also went into this for a couple of shades for a specific look that I did. I think it was just 1 or 2 shades that I went into. I don't really recall, but I was just trying to play with it as much as possible. Next up, I went into my Glamshop Sorbetti palette twice this last month. So this one I really love. I think I definitely went into the pink, and I also went into, did I go into the pink twice this month? I don't know what else I went into, but I went into something else. Maybe it was one of the shimmers, but I have it marked down as twice. And I do remember using it twice. I just don't remember exactly which shades. I also used the What's Your Power from Gloss Gods twice this month. I was doing quite colorful looks this month, and this just has a lot of bright colors that I don't really have in other palettes. So I do kind of lack a lot of bright, colorful, like rainbow style colors in my collection, which is fine because it's not something that I typically wear all the time, but it's just something that I've obviously noticed. But I'm glad that I have this palette because, you know, I've clearly been using it, and it's just gotten so much use in the last year. It was my project level up. I used it for about 6 months, and I'm still going into it. So definitely nice that I'm dipping my hands into it because I need to, basically. Okay, next batch are palettes that I've gone into 3 times. So we have the Natasha Denona Retro palette here. I've gone into it 3 times. I do have Pando's Eyeshadows shade, which is this one right here. And I did, however, go into the shade Swing for a look. Did I go into anything else? Maybe not. I think it was just Swing, but I've been going into it because of this shade primarily. Then we have Call of the Sirens. This is the newest Gourmand Girls palette. So this one I got in May, and I did do 3 looks. So I used it 3 different times, and yeah, it's a nice palette. I like it. The formula is really pretty. Then we have the new neutrals from Gloss Gods. So I'm doing a pan in every palette series, and this was one of the palettes that was chosen randomly. So this is the one that I'm trying to hit pan on, and as you can see, I have not. I don't think I've gone into really anything else, even though it looks such a mess. I think I've only gone into this shade. So that one I'm still trying to work on. And then the last one in the group of 3 is this one, my Equalizer Volume 2 from Sample Beauty. And I've gone into this one quite a lot. I went into the white twice on 2 different occasions. And I also went into this shade. I don't think there was anything else. It was really just for the mattes. It was the matte white and then for this shade up here for specific looks that I was doing. So anyway, yeah, I'm really happy that I'm getting use on palettes that are not at all in projects, which is always makes me happy. So I'm, doing what I can. Okay, next group is a group of 4. So I only have 2 palettes where I've used them 4 times. The first one is from Cosmic Beauty. This is the Lovers palette. And this one, I do have a pan those eyeshadows, which is right here. Again, no spoiler because I've barely come into this one. I know 4 times, but I think one of those uses was actually in this shade right here. Yeah, I haven't gone into this palette, honestly, very much at all. And then I also went into my Sinja Beauty Galactic Visitor 4 times this month as well. So this one I do also have in a project. I have this shade down here. This is one of my Pan in Every palettes that I'm working on. So this is the shade that I selected. I also did a 3 looks 1 palette with this. So that is why I got some extra use on this palette this last month. Okay, next up we have the group of 6. I don't have any palettes where I used it 5 times, so we're skipping ahead. These ones I've used 6 times each. First one here is the Look for Rainbows from Gloss Gods. This is my Pan palette in order, so yeah, I kind of expected the use maybe to be a bit higher, but it really wasn't that much this last month, and I think I said that in my update. Again, I have no spoilers. I'm working on this shade right now. I actually have this one pretty much all over the center of my lid on today. But yeah, you can see I'm slowly working through for a Pan palette. And yeah, most of my uses would have been that shade that I just pointed to. Okay, then we have Cosmic Beauty Muse palette. This is the other Pan in Every palette that I'm working on. It's hard to say all these words all at once. Anyway, this one looks like this. This is the shade that I'm going into. And I think other than this shade, I went into this green this last month, and I think this one as well. So yeah, there was only 3 shades that I actually went into, but I did use it 6 times because I am trying to hit pan in this one, which, as you can see, no spoiler, I still have not done that. That update is this week too, so I honestly should have gone into that shade instead of my Look for Rainbow shades today, because they're actually very similar, and I'm struggling to use both of them at the same time because they do similar things. But I will figure out what to do in the next couple of days about that. If I do end up using the Muse and hitting pan, great. If not, too bad. Okay, then the last one in the group of 6 is from Makeup Factory. This is the Gold Selection palette, and this is in my Pan Those eyeshadows, so I'm just trying to hit pan in this one. I did also go into this shade when I did my Pan Those eyeshadows bingo, where I use other shades in my Pan Those eyeshadow palettes. I randomize it and I just do a palette bingo style get ready with me. So I just introduced that last week, and I will try to do that every single month just to get more use out of my Pan palettes so that it's not just one shade that I'm working on. But anyway, this one, only used it 6 times. Yeah, we're in the group of 6. Okay, next up, these next ones I've used 7 times, so we're getting a little bit up there. The first one is one of my Pan palettes for the year. It's the Naughty Nude from Huda Beauty. So this one I've definitely taken a step back. I haven't used it as much as the other months, even though I was like, I'm having so much fun with this palette. I'm going into it so much. And then this last month, I'm like, I'm not actually going into it that much, but there's no spoilers. This is what it looks like. I did go into it today, but obviously today only counts for June. So anyway, this is actually I didn't wear makeup at all over the weekend because if you can't hear, I'm still sick. But so this is the first day I'm wearing makeup in a few days, and it feels nice. It feels like I have my face back. And I thought, well, let's go into a Pan palette. Let's just make sure we get a little bit of use. Anyway, went into this 7 times in the month of May, so that's just 7 different days, not too much, but obviously I could use multiple shades in those looks. Next up is the Cosmic Beauty Serenity. So I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I like this palette. I say I like this palette, and I do use it quite a lot. I do have a shade, however, in my Pan Those eyeshadows, so that's probably why I'm using it so much. So this is the shade that I'm currently working on in my Pan Those eyeshadows. I did, however, go into this shade. I also went into this shade this month. And I think that's it. I think a lot of the rest of the uses was in this ether shade, which again, no spoiler because I don't have a pan. I'm just struggling to hit pan even though I'm using a lot of eyeshadow. And then the last palette in the group of 8, are we in 8 or 7? We're in 7, is the Peach Perfect from Gourmand Girls. And this is mostly because it's in my pan, those eyeshadows. I'm working on this shade, still don't have a pan. I did, however, go into this shade this month. And did I go into this shade? Maybe not, but I went definitely into these 2 shades in the last month. Okay, then we only have 2 palettes left. So the next one is all by itself. I've used it 8 times. It's all sitting lonely in its own little group. It is the Lethal Avatar Air Palette. It's my Project Level Up. Used it 8 times. I still feel like I'm not using it as much as I need to use it though, because I'm really not getting any progress on it. But this is what it looks like. So because it's my Project Level Up, I actually have to hit 4 pans, and I still have yet to hit any pan. So this one's going slowly. I also have to use every single shade 4 times, which I think some of them I have done, but yeah, this one I used 8 different times. And then the one that I've used the most is my other Pan That palette. It is from Alter Ego. It's a Shadow Kiss. I've used this 20 times. 20 times in the month of May, and honestly, almost all of those were for my brows because I started using one shade in my brows and I was like, oh, this is going way faster if I just do that. But I think what's happened is I've actually neglected a lot of other shades in the palette. So there isn't that much of a spoiler at all because I haven't hit pan or anything, but this is what it looks like inside. And I use this in my eyebrows, and I used the whole palette 20 times, like 20 different days in the month of May. And I'm gonna say 18 of those days, I put that in my brow, probably. And yeah, there's only been a few other shades where I've gone into. I've really kind of neglected the other shades, I'm not gonna lie. But you can see there's like kind of a dip forming in this shade right here. And it's one of those like sort of angled ones because I use actually kind of a thick, big pencil brush. I don't know what, no, these are not pencil brush. I don't know what this is, like a thick, I don't know what this is called. It's like one of these flat ones. I use this one specifically so you can see it literally fits the shape. That's the only one I use, and yeah, I've been doing my brows. So this one, that's why I've got like 20 uses on this palette. That's kind of it. That's where we are. So those are all of the palettes that I used this last month. I think I'm gonna try to pull the reins in a little bit this next month. But the thing is, like when I do my makeup challenges, I do like a book challenge, I do a random generator. I also am going to be doing my gemstone for my members and everything like that. So for those looks in particular, I don't know what shade I'm going to need to use until I sit down and film. So I can't naturally just like go into my Huda Beauty Naughty Nude if I have to do a blue look or a green look. So I have to like find it elsewhere. So I think that's how I've been able to just get a lot of use out of other palettes in my collection this month, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie, it is making my projects go slower. I think my Project Level Up is probably suffering quite a bit because I haven't hit any pans yet. So that one is definitely suffering. I think also my 2 Pan That palettes, I mean, aside from that one shade that I've gone into so many times, I think they're probably suffering too. Like when you see the update for that, which I think will be next week, you'll see my uses have gone down significantly. So unless in the next week, I just focus on my project palettes, which actually is the goal, because it's really towards the second part of the month where I do more creative looks. And then the first couple weeks of the month, I'm really like trying to focus on my projects. That's how I'm doing it. That's how I'm scheduling it, which whatever. But then sometimes I just want to go into a palette and I go into a palette. That's just how it goes. Like the P. Louise, I had no reason to go into that P. Louise. I just went into it and did the look and didn't even like end up like posting that look or sharing it at all. I just wore it for myself. So there obviously are times where I'm just going to want to wear a shade that I want to, or use an eyeshadow palette that I want to. And that's how it should be, right? It's just makeup. That's all it is. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you like to, and I'll see you next time. Bye.